NileFM.
This is Cairo's number one.
Now.
NileFM Aware.
Welcome to yet another episode of the show where it's all about giving back to the community. With me tonight in the studio are two members of the Wataneya Society for the Development of Orphanages. You'll really want to check this out. We'll be right back.
Cairo's number one. NileFM.
Welcome to the show. Hope you're having a great Saturday and had a great weekend. And you know what? Just to end the weekend on the right note, with me tonight in the studio are the lovely ladies, Asi and Hannah from Wataneya Society for the Development of Orphanages. Ladies, welcome to the show, first of all.
Hello, Adham.
Ladies, first of all, of course, thank you very much for taking the time. Now, I have to say, the first time I read the email and the title of your organization, the Wataneya Society for the Development of Orphanages, I have to say, I thought it was development of orphans. But you're not trying to develop orphans, are you? You're trying to develop the orphanages themselves. What exactly is the Wataneya Society?
Definitely, we're trying to develop orphanages because we're trying to implement the minimum standard of quality, and this is something new. And to do that, you have to develop the whole institution, not only orphans, not only caregivers, but also all kind of institutions, cares, protection, everything.
Even the facilities, maybe?
Even
or the equipment?
facilities,
Wow.
even the facilities. And you have also to work with the youth and with the kids for protection programs, for many, many other things. So it's a whole program. It's a very big program.
That's amazing. And I have to say, it kind of stung a little bit just a few seconds ago when you said the minimum requirements, which is very new here in Egypt. I'm like, ouch, that's gotta hurt.
Well, minimum quality standards is very important, and we were trying to implement the minimum quality standards. And below that, orphanages should have red cards saying, beware, you need to develop this, you need to upgrade that.
Wow.
So that's what we want orphanages in Egypt to reach to that level.
Very, very cool. Now, just before we go back to some music, I'd like to ask you, what exactly made you venture into that direction? I mean, why the development of orphanages? Why not just give people some money or do whatever?
No, we want to change charity into development. So many people give money, but what do they do with the money? Nothing. It goes away. But developing the whole thing will build a future for those orphans in the orphanages. And according to UNICEF, there are around 1.7 million orphans.
Wow.
In 2009, that was done in 2009, and it's public information. It's on their website.
Tell me a little bit more about how you want to change charity into development.
Okay, basically we look at the source. I mean, we don't look at the result and work on that. We look at the source, the roots. So we work on the environment in which these orphans grow up, and this includes the managers, the caregivers, everybody involved with these orphans, as well as the orphans themselves. So we have, for example, a support team that pays regular visits to the orphanages and to give them psychological counseling and to help and train the caregivers themselves in solving behavioral problems, for example. Then we make needs assessment based on our fieldwork and decide which trainings that we need to design and develop for everybody involved in this process. So we have a main training center that was founded solely for that purpose. It's the only training center in Egypt that offers training to caregivers at orphanages.
Just caregivers, nothing else.
We provide trainings on all levels, but it's the only training center that provides trainings to caregivers.
We just got accredited by a famous international body in the UK to become an accredited training center, providing an accredited vocational qualification in childcare, and that's the first of its kind in Egypt.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
you!
We're so happy. Yeah, we're launching this program in January 2013. And we're hoping to open this for everybody who's interested in childcare and to childcare providers who work in orphanages, in nurseries, in any institution. It's a generic program.
Wow, that's very, 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 very cool. I mean, and basically, you also mentioned that you had a training center, and that one of its arms is dedicated to the the development, both psychological and technical abilities of the caregivers to these orphans.
Yes.
And now it's going to be all across the board.
It will be all across the board, and this vocational qualification is like a requirement for a license to practice after that, and it's also a requirement for a diploma, a technical diploma in the same vocational qualification, and it is targeting managers, senior level caregivers, while the other local trainings in Amman Training Center target the middle and the below middle level of workers in the orphanages.
You know what? I'm kind of scared to ask this because I'm thinking that the answer is not going to be very, very happy as far as I'm concerned. Because you know for a fact that since you work in this field, there is always this stigma or dogma about being an orphan in Egypt. Orphans are looked at as second-class citizens, and it's shameful to do so. How do you? I mean, is this a reality, or am I overestimating things, or what's going on?
Definitely, it's a reality. It's a very, very sad reality. Many people, even in orphans, they look at themselves like that, as it's taken for granted that they are second-class citizens, unfortunately. But we are trying together with them to remove this idea and to outreach to people, to advocate the importance of orphans, and that, you know, that 40% of orphans are there in orphanages because of economic reasons. So many of them have their parents around, but they cannot just keep them with them in the house.
40%.
40%.
And you were just mentioning, Hannah, a few minutes ago that the numbers are 1.7 million orphans according to UNICEF.
Yes.
That just is overwhelming. And right now you're working on awareness campaigns to educate people that orphans are more than just orphans. They're actually human beings, just like you and me and everybody else, that they're not second-class citizens.
Yeah, we want to change this idea completely, and we're working on it. And many people are accepting this, and even the orphans themselves are being made aware that they are like everybody else.
And you know what? It's one of those times where I'm really, really sad. Like, genuinely. I'm not just saying this because we're on radio, but I'm genuinely sad that this interview is over. But before we leave, I mean, Hannah and Asi from the Wataneya Society for Development of Orphanages, we're just talking about changing the concept of charity into development, attacking the root cause, and basically providing training and technical expertise for caregivers that provide the care for orphanages. You also mentioned about an accredited vocational training that you have within your center to give to these caregivers, and you just mentioned something as well that's very, very, very cool. You said I didn't get the gist of it, but I want to hear a little bit more about it.
Yeah, we have this. We also train volunteers and people who choose to adopt or be like foster parents, like kofale, because even their behavior can affect the kids negatively. Because like if you go and you play with 50 children and you just pick the cutest and give him a lot of sweets, that's not really gonna help much. So basically we give trainings just for that. Then there are other ways you can volunteer, like for example you can give trainings yourself. You can join our pool of trainers.
You know, that's actually a very, very, very good point, because usually I save this for the last bit. If I'm just a random listener, if I whatever, like, you know, I just want to be in touch with the Wataneya Society for Development of Orphanages. I want to support, I want to get in touch, even if not just to volunteer, but just simply to know what you guys are up to, keep up to date on your latest news. How do I do that?
Yes, well, first of all, we have our website. It's www.amanegypt.org.
How do you spell Aman? Just to make sure that it's...
AMAAN.
Perfect.
And we also you can advocate for the cause by joining our network, and you are then called a Wataneya ambassador.
Nice. I'd like to be that. I'd like to be that. I mean, ladies, it's been a pleasure having you here, and just like, you know, to button this contact information, if you are one of these individuals that is working with an organization or even alone on such a splendid cause like this one or any other, trying to give back to the community, I would love to hear from you. Send me an email at aware@nileradioproductions.net. That's aware@nileradioproductions.net. I would love to have you come in and explain and talk a little bit about your initiative right here on the show. Asi, Hannah, it's been wonderful having you on the show. Thank you very much for your efforts and for this amazing initiative. Thank you. That's it from us right here on NILE FM's Aware. We'll be back on your radio, though, next Saturday with another group of individuals, all of us trying to give back to the community. Have a great evening.